Hello, hello, hello. It's your homegirl, Anacani, and welcome back to Power Forward Podcast, Navigating Life Currents. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'm so amazingly happy that you're here. And if you're a loyal listener, you already know that this is a safe space for us to talk about navigating life's ups and downs with basically strength, humor, and of course, a whole heart. Now, grab your favorite beverage, cup of coffee, cup of tea. I'm going to be sipping on some coffee with some plant-based creamer. And yeah, and the winter vibes are here. And I want you all to be cozy as we dive into today's topic. And we're talking about winter's wellness, specifically how yoga and mindfulness can really just be our BFFs during these colder, like darker months. And, just whether you're inside or you tend to be one of those brave people out there. I had a shout out from one of our clients that participated in a sub challenge. She actually braved it out there and went paddling in like bundled up, but she didn't even look like she had a wetsuit in the picture. So, yes, I see you, Queen. OMG, super proud of you. But this episode is really about staying grounded, warm, and mentally strong as we really start to navigate this season together. It's really sometimes a hard struggle in the winter for a lot of reasons. And I want to just start with like the obvious, which is winter can be tough. Like the days tend to be shorter because it's just the way that the world, you know, uh, is with regards to where we are in that time of the season. And it's colder. Sometimes it feels like all your energy just disappears with the sun, and that's completely normal. So if you're like me and you've got a toddler running around, winter means less outside time too, um, depending on like where you are. And so it just means that that leaves you with a lot of energy to burn indoors. So like cabin fever times 15, but it also can be a beautiful opportunity to slow down and really start to reconnect with ourselves, maybe reconnect with each other in your family. And nature is resting. That's basically what is happening. It's the cycle of life. So we should take notes from nature and rest too. It really is about doing less. It's about doing what matters more, spending time with family, reflecting on the past year, envisioning the future, preparing, hibernating, nesting, all of those things. And I think it's really important to bring up why yoga and mindfulness are really perfect for this time of the year, for the winter in itself. And it really, I feel like, needs to be in people's winter survival toolkit. I know that for some, it's a very mentally taxing season. Sometimes the holidays can be particularly hard if you've dealt with a significant loss in your life. If maybe you're in a situation where you don't have family around, they've all gone, or you just didn't, have family to begin with. And sometimes it can be really hard, emotionally, mentally, from that aspect too. That's why they call it Christmas blues. And yoga, I want you to know, is not just about flexibility. It's about creating that heat in your body. It's about finding mental clarity. It's about reconnecting with your breath. And during winter, what your body really starts to crave is that warmth, both physically and emotionally. And I really feel like if you do yoga the right way or the right type of yoga in this scenario, it can really help stroke that inner fire that you're kind of missing. And mindfulness, it's the secret sauce. It really truly is the secret sauce to really keeping that insanity during those gray, gloomy days. And so think of it as like a way to press pause on all the noise, your to-do list, the holiday chaos. Maybe you're having winter blues. And it really is about tuning in and saying, hey, I'm here and I've got this. I'm not alone. I can get through this. This too shall pass, whatever it is that can get you to that next level. And so I am a big advocate for it. I mean, that's why I personally practice yoga. That's why I am a pre and postnatal yoga instructor because it's super vital for me to make sure that parents are out there practicing it because it can be really difficult. And then you pass that on to your kids because I'm a huge, huge believer that you should practice in front of your kids. They are learning by watching, and when you start to do things that you want to instill in them or for them to kind of learn from, yoga is one of the best ways to teach them how to self-regulate, how to stretch, how to move their body, how to stay healthy. So quick practices to really stay warm and centered. um, I just want to give you a few that are completely doable. So, if you're completely new to yoga, you can, YouTube sun salutations, but it's kind of like this short little practice for me. And it's my go-to. There's a type of yoga that literally that's all they do. And a lot of people actually for the new year, if they're like true yogis, they do the 108 sun salutations for the new year. And I've never tried it personally, but I've always actually wanted to. And just thinking about it, maybe that's something that I'll do this year and then just tell you tell you my perspective after I go through it. But the one thing I will say is that when you're starting to think about how to start your day, I know that winter mornings can be brutal. And so the trick that I find is really starting with about 3 to 5 rounds of sun salutation. It's really like this full body hug, and it really starts to move the blood through your body. It starts to warm your muscles, and it actually starts to wake you up. It's really like saying, "Hello, sunshine," even if the weather outside is saying, "Not today." So I love sun salutations. It's a really quick, gentle way to just kind of warm up the body. If you wanting to look for like something a little bit more in depth, try a vinyasa yoga class or look for a vinyasa style YouTube video. And then there's always the cozy restorative yoga in the evening that you can do. Maybe mornings are a little bit chaotic. And so you can, think about it like having a warm blanket and then having some few restorative poses like child's pose or reclined butterfly, which you could totally do with a blanket on top of you. um, you know, do some aromatherapy with some nice warm tones. I love, love, love Christmas Spirit Essential Oil Blend from Young Living. I use that stuff all the time. I put it on myself like perfume so I can go out there and smell like Christmas and spread that holiday cheer. So even if you're out there and not feeling the holiday spirit, if you hug me, you sure will. And, think of like peppermint, cinnamon, nutmeg. Those essential oils are like, ooh, I love them. And I'm a Scorpio, so I love like those hearty, warming scents. Just like a while I like dark coffee, I like Guinness, I liked Scotch, these like just warming, like hot kind of tones and scents and tastes, and it really just lets your body melt into the mat, and it gives you that moment to really decompress. So that could be another alternative. And then there's always my go-to, which is pranayama. And for this specific episode, I wanted to think about like what to warm you up and the breath of fire. It's really an amazing pranayama. Pranayama, for those of you who are like, I don't even know what you're talking about, Anacani. It's a breathing exercise. It's just fancy word for breathing. It's not fancy. It's actually Sanskrit, but that's like yoga language. It's basically a breathing exercise, and I actually teach it in my Valor yoga class, during certain classes when I really want to get them to, like, sweat and really feel the heat. It's perfect for the winter, and it's energizing, it's warming, and so if you're in those days where you have, like, 0 energy and you really need, like, a quick, um just energy boost, this is like the breath of fire is um, an amazing one. And so there's 2 different ways. I learned a different, it's a fire breath and then the breath of fire. So either of those 2 could work. The breath of fire is basically where you just kind of sit comfortably and then you take an inhale through your nose, and then on the exhale, you pump your belly in quick, short bursts like you're blowing out tiny candles. Now, I do a version where I do it standing and I do it the fist of breath, like the breath of fire with your fists. So you're kind of in like a high lunge and you bring your hands up in high lunge. And then as you exhale, you do a forceful exhale. You round to the back, tuck your chin to your chest. You quickly swing your arms backwards. You create a fist, a really tight fist, and you do that, 6 to 10 times, and then there's the actual fire breath where that's a little bit more complicated. So, if you're interested in actually me doing, like, YouTube videos on any of those, I'd be happy to do that. So, let me know in comments on this episode. And then I wanna make sure that we don't forget about the mental part of this whole thing, because that is a big, big thing, and if you listen to my last podcast episode, I go more in depth into my own just run down memory lane of when I was in a bad space in my life and how I'm just very in tune to just this time of the year. It's colder. I have more, just noticed more for whatever reason, like the homeless community, and my heart goes out to them. But I wanted to just make sure that, just because winter can mess with your head, it's considered like this seasonal affective disorder or like the winter funk. And it is not a joke. It really can affect people. It can really take the joy out of this time of the year. And so mindfulness practices can really help keep your thoughts from spiraling if you're in that space where you're already feeling this way. The first thing you can try to do is morning gratitude. Before you grab your phone in the morning, take some 3 deep breaths, like literally, whether you're still lying down with your eyes closed or sit up and take those 3 deep breaths. And it could be, again, in your warm bed, or you can do it while you're waiting for your coffee, smelling those beautiful aromas, or while you're sitting there holding that warm cup of coffee in your hand, just sitting before the chaos of the kids waking up. Gratitude really shifts your perspective and it definitely sets the tone for the day. And I am trying to be more about it. One of my coaches is Leonie Dawson, and she does this beautiful, um, it's almost to me like a prayer, but it's just more of like a meditative prompt, and she'll say, she grounds you in when she walks you through it, closing your eyes, take some free breaths, center yourself, become present, check in with yourself. And then she'll repeat this mantra that she uses where she's like, God, Great Spirit, creator of all that is, what would you have me do? What would you have me say? How would you have me see things for the greater good in light of all? I am ready to see things from a new perspective. And I love it. I repeat it every day before I go to sleep so that my mind has that as the lasting impression. And maybe I'll dream and get some like, secret dreams that are like, messages from the universe as to like really guiding me and answering my prayers. And then I also do it in the morning, just to kind of set my day so that I'm mindful of what I'm looking for. And then set a timer for 2 minutes, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and then just imagine like a midday reset in the middle of the day, like maybe before you eat your lunch or after you eat your lunch, take a few minutes, like literally 2 minutes. That's all it is. And for me, like imagining that I'm on a paddleboard and I'm gliding over like calm water, and then I visualize the sun on my face and that gentle rhythm of the waves. And I just start to like really feel like go back to a memory where it was like that feeling of when that sun comes out beyond the clouds and it's just shining on my skin and it feels so warm and I get goosebumps because it's just like, oh, it's just what I need. And the more visual, the more specific, the more detailed you become, then you actually start to feel that warmness on your face. It's freaky. It's really a powerful um, visualization. And it's like a mini vacation, literally for your brain. Because the thing that I've learned, because I have a brain coach, for those of you who know Jim Quick, I hired him. And people are like, you hired him? Like, wait, what? Well, I bought his course. That's the same thing for me. And I have his book, which is fantastic, by the way. But he was like, your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and like imagination. Like when you visualize something, your body doesn't know the difference if it's the real thing or the not. So the more you visualize something that you want, that you're striving for, that's why vision boards are so powerful, is that your mind will get fixated and then it will basically start to try to figure out how do we make this our reality. It's fantastic. So when you go into these visualization like meditations, that's why they're powerful. And then evening reflection, at night, ask yourself what went well today. Even on your hard days, I know that that's not the best thing. Like you don't want to reflect on what didn't happen, but I guarantee you it will help you sleep better to ask yourself that, especially on those hard days. There's always going to be something good, a laugh, a moment of calm, or even just the fact that you survived the day. Okay. And I'm talking to you, parents, especially if you're a new one, you know. And I always tell people if today the only thing that you can be grateful for are the basics, that you have a car, that you have a roof over your head, that your whole house is warm, that you actually have the basic needs, food in your refrigerator, something to sleep on, roof over your head, that's still gratitude. And, when you're really reflecting, if it's a hard day, it's better for you to think about what didn't go well and then go into how can you make tomorrow better? What can you do better next time? It really will help you release that tension. It won't let you like dream about it and dwell on it. It's an amazing exercise that I really hope that you put in your back burner. And then your bonus tip is that I want to talk about winter wellness without mentioning. I can't talk about winter wellness without mentioning hydration. Like I know it's not the first thing that you would think of when you think winter, but staying hydrated is actually like miracle. Like it's a miracle pill. If cold water isn't your vibe, then sip on herbal tea, warm lemon water. And if you're stand-up paddleboard, fearless supper, hydration is even more important, especially if you're out paddling, but even if you're not paddling as much, your body and your skin will thank you. That's why our skin gets super dry because we tend to drink less water because we're colder. So if it helps to drink the stuff warm, then do that. I'm a big firm believer that you need to be drinking your water at room temperature anyways. And I actually just recently became the fabulous owner of an Enagic machine. It's a Japanese water machine. I literally call it my miracle water. And it creates, I think, like 8 different types of water, but we initially bought it because we needed it for my son's eye infections and skin eczema flare-ups. And it helps with digestion and it helps with hydration. And so it's been a game changer for his health. And I've noticed that it helps me too. Plus, it tastes amazing. And so I'm also conscious that I notice that I'm not drinking as much water. And so making sure that I'm setting that timer if I have to. I am multi-passionate and I'm also like, I don't know if I have ADD, but I if it's not in my calendar, if I'm not getting a reminder, sometimes I just my mind goes into like a million places and it's the only way to keep track of like the important stuff. So I put a timer on, like every hour, drink some water. And it's annoying, but guess what? It gets the work done. So that's that's pretty much it. That's what I have for you for today's episode. I hope these yoga and mindfulness tips really inspire you to just embrace that coziness of winter, while you're staying warm and connected to yourself and maybe connected to your baby, your toddler, or even your partner. Remember, you don't have to wait for spring to bloom. You can actually thrive right here, right now, in the middle of winter. And if you love this episode, please do me a favor and share it with friends who might need a little winter pick me up. If you are trying to get any of these tips, like the video suggestions of the fire breath, like if you're like, hey, I had no idea what you were talking about. Like I try to like visualize what you were trying to tell me. I need something visual, let me know. I'd be happy to create a YouTube video to go more in depth into those fire breaths or anything else that you guys might want me to talk about. And let me know. You can DM me on Instagram at any of my brands at Anacani Walters, at Fat Mermaids, and Empower Her Wave, wherever you follow me. And then share your thoughts. I'd love to hear about it on any of my platforms, on my YouTube, or here on the podcast itself. If you are wanting to go above and beyond to really just give me some love, please give me a rating so that this podcast and my messaging can reach other people. Again, I'd love to hear how you're staying grounded this winter season. And until next time, keep paddling forward, keep navigating those currents with grace and strength. And remember that you are stronger than you think and more loved than you'll ever know. I'll catch you in the next episode.